I want to set up the next piece here for Paul and Greg and everybody, and because this was the news out of Chapel Hill, North Carolina yesterday, and I'm sure many of you have seen this. The news was that from Chapel Hill yesterday, a move to fully remote learning after a campus corona outbreak left 177 students in isolation and 349 in quarantine, okay? So now we're at the University of North Carolina. And yesterday, after bringing the students back on campus, about a week later, they decided to go to fully remote learning. Here were the statements, the first from the university. As much as we believe we have worked diligently to help create a healthy and safe campus living and learning environment, we believe the current data presents an untenable situation. That's from the chancellor. Then from the athletic department. Our student athletes will continue to attend online classes and may choose to remain in their current on and off campus residences. Workouts and practices will continue under their standards set by our university, health officials, and department. We still are expecting to play this fall, and we will continue to evaluate the situation in coordination with the university, the ACC, state and local officials, and health officials. The health and safety of our student athletes, coaches, and staff and community remains our priority. So, Paul Finebaum, I turn to you. This got an enormous amount of attention yesterday. You have one statement where the chancellor is saying it's an untenable situation to have the students go into class, and another in which the athletic department says our intention is to continue playing football. In your mind, Paul Finebaum, how do those two things go together?
They don't. And Greeny, by itself, this is not enough to kill football in the ACC. But, and here's the big but, if you see this on more campuses, it really puts the pressure on the college administrators to justify playing football in an environment where it's not safe for students to go. It's so obvious that this is a problem. Remember, 4 or 5 months ago, Jack Swarbrick, the AD at Notre Dame, who will be playing in the ACC, said you can't have football unless students are on campus. He amended that several times, as did everyone else. But just keep your eye on the students. That's what this is all about. That's what the commissioners are saying. If student outbreaks become pervasive, then football becomes under far more pressure than it is now.
There are any number of campuses where they already aren't bringing students back at all, and all of the learning is happening remotely. Some of those are in the Pac-12, which is part of the reason they're not playing. Heather, is there a rule about this? What do you hear from people, generally speaking, about the idea of playing football on a campus where the regular students are not allowed?
It's still a major question, but people also have to realize, as shocking as this might sound, the student athletes are absolutely more protected in a bubble within the athletic facilities. It's a different scenario than it is for the general student body, fair or not. You're talking about football players and athletes who are getting tested regularly, right? Everything that they have is sanitized and CDC guidelines. We're talking about PDFs of plans to keep the athletes safe. So it is a different environment than what the student body is experiencing. The question is, can they coexist together, right? Because you're still on campus. Even if you're not going to class, are they going to bars? Are they going to restaurants? Are they going to parties? That's the question. And Paul nailed it. One school isn't going to determine the entire ACC's plan, but that chancellor goes into a meeting with every other president and chancellor in that conference. And when he says publicly it's an untenable situation for him, that absolutely resonates at that discussion table.
Greg, final thought. What do you think?
If I'm a student athlete, I'm relieved that the students are no longer on campus, because that is not a controlled environment. And frankly, it eliminates the temptation that I might have as a student athlete to go out and be social and to not practice all the different protocols they've been preached to over the last several months. Look, if I'm my priority is to play football this fall. It really would be. That would be the most important thing to me. And the only way to do that is to make sure that everyone in our locker room is rowing in the same direction. And when there are students that don't have anything to lose, they're not anything at risk for the regular student. But for us as athletes, we could lose a year of eligibility. Our season could go awry. We could potentially have the season shut down. And we don't know what that means for us as football players and what our future might look like. So if I'm a student athlete in North Carolina, I feel better today knowing that there will no longer be students that I'm sharing the classroom with on a daily basis that are not tested, that are not being fully assured that they are minding kind of the protocols that the schools put forth.
I think that is a comment that will raise a lot of eyebrows, but I think it makes all the sense in the world if the athletes are willing to live that way. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.